Superstar DJ Johnny Vaughan, Olympic flame Konnie Huq, and their team captain John Locke. And facing them tonight, all rise, it's Duncan James. And here's Johnny Vegas and their team captain Jason Manford. Now welcome your host Jimmy Carr.
Hello and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, 8% of women say they've never worn the most expensive thing they've bought? That's because it's a dishwasher. 43% of Brits would like to use alternative energy sources. I've just bought a wind turbine. Now I just need somewhere to plug it in. And 21% of women will not make love with the lights on. Problem is, they come on automatically when I open the car door. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Jason, Duncan, Johnny, what have the nation been talking about this week?
Big Brother.
Yeah? You're a big fan,
there's
aren't you?
3 new housemates gone in.
3 new housemates.
Belinda, Belinda and Belinda.
Somewhere over the rainbow. Going mental.
Did you hear that song?
That was phenomenal.
Doobie doobie doo. Be quiet, Belinda.
She's nice.
lovely.
She is nice.
Yeah. Bubbly. Bubbly. And I
Bubbly.
don't mean, you know, effervescent personality. I mean shaped like a bubble. But she's an incredibly annoying individual.
And she even annoys you when she's sleeping.
Yeah,
she snores
horrible,
like
isn't it?
it's horrible.
Although, in fairness, you are watching people snore, don't you?
Yeah,
You might want to think about getting blue back together, that's all I'm saying. I'm busy watching people sleep.
Sarah's philosophy. I'm not a big fan of Sarah. Her philosophy is she went, I take every day as it comes, and I thought, well, that's just, you have to do that. I'm like, I like to grab 3 weeks at a time and then just sit waiting for another couple of days.
Yeah, that is her saying, I am willing to go along with the laws of nature. I can tell you Big Brother is not one of the most talked about things this week.
Oh, that was a waste of
But of course, Big Brother continues. New housemate Belinda is perhaps the most naturally talented person I've ever wanted to push off a bridge. Since Belinda entered the house, Mikey has been busy wishing away his few remaining senses. Sean, Johnny, Konnie Huq. What else have the nation been talking about?
I think everybody's been talking about the Formula One chief, Max Mosley.
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Max Mosley's orgy. I like to say we're doing S&M. He said it's perfectly harmless. So if that's the case, he wants to get his money back. Sorry.
Well, they might not be, but they could be Nazi-themed sex orgies.
He's denying it. He's denying it vehemently. He's saying, we were just doing a bit of S&M, and obviously it was in the papers one day. And he said, this hasn't been in the papers long enough. I'm going to take them to court.
I hope at some point someone in court says, this wasn't just any sex, this was S&M sex.
I like the idea that he said, Max Mosley said he'd been doing this for 45 years.
Man and boy.
45 years, and he said, and his wife didn't know. And I like the idea of him coming home. How does he explain that his arse looks like a grilled panini?
Yeah.
I fell on the barbecue at work again.
Duncan, have you ever tried the S&M thing?
I haven't. I didn't actually know what S&M meant till the other day.
Such a lie!
Serbia and Montenegro.
What did you say? You're not... Let's have a look and see if Max Mosley's one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, this is the story. Motor racing boss Max Mosley is suing a newspaper for claiming his S&M sex session was Nazi-related. I appreciate Max Mosley's right to do whatever he wants in his free time, but I can't believe anyone actually gets pleasure from Formula One. Jason, Duncan and Johnny, what have the nation been talking about this week?
Food. Gordon Brown has said that we're wasting too much food. This is about 3 weeks after he said we're all getting fat. Now he's changed his mind. Now he's saying we're wasting too much food. And, you know, of all the problems he's got, he's obviously become Prime Minister and gone, oh, what should I fix first? Global terrorism, knife crime. Oh, no, you've thrown them bananas out. They've still got a bit of yellow on them. It's gone mental.
What you should do, if you don't want to waste food, just do what I do. I just buy Parmesan. Never goes off. You can put it on a rooftop in Nairobi. It won't go off.
The thing that gets me, right, I read in the paper this week that we waste £1 billion in food every year, right? Now, which sounds scary, doesn't it, right? But I've worked it out, right, that if you think, how many zeros is in a billion? That's 9 zeros in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. £1 billion, right? How many is there of us? 56 million, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a million, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we
twice,
waste
56.
£17.85 a year, right? So boobless. No, we're not doing it properly, right? So I worked it out. Per person, per day, we waste 4 pence a day. I couldn't give a flying monkeys, to be honest.
Jason, there's certain people that upset that balance.
I buy champagne and, like, chase homeless people.
Thanks for backing me up, Johnny.
I'm a nightmare. I'll go shopping and I'll do my go around. I love it. I love going shopping, round with my little trolley, round Sainsbury's. I do. And I love the little 2-for-1 deals you get. Put them in. But...
Do you tend to bring a couple of friends with you to do exactly the same
No.
moves? Let's have a look and see whether food waste is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, this is the news that Gordon Brown has told us all to stop wasting food. The chair of the National Obesity Forum broke when a big fat fatty sat on it. OK, Sean, Connie and Johnny, what else have the nation been talking about?
Konnie and Johnny.
Is it the baby man?
Baby, the man had a baby. Where did it come out?
Where did it come out?
Yes, I mean, I know where
came out of
babies-
it. Well,
Out of the man's vagina.
Did it?
Yeah.
He's got a-
Mangina.
It's called a manny or a munt.
Is it?
Yeah. It is, yeah.
What actually classifies
What
it?
actually
Because he's got a
classifies-
womb, but not a...
He's got a womb, but
Yeah.
he's been living as a man for 20 years.
If you need a solicitor to back up your argument that you're a man,
Yeah.
you're not a man, are you?
Technically, he's not a man until he can parallel park, piss standing up, and walk past a shoe shop without popping in. So there we go.
We've got a picture of him.
He looks like an inflated George Michael.
We've got another picture of him. We've got another picture of him. There he is.
They actually look quite similar.
That's the gag. That's the joke.
It's like
They look a bit like
You are adorable, aren't you?
They've complained that healthcare professionals were unsupportive. They actually had to get inseminated. They were helped by a vet.
Yeah, they were worried the story wasn't weird enough. I like the fact that for a brief moment, a girl was trapped inside a woman trapped inside a man.
It's like some kind of, like, nightmarish Kinder egg, isn't it?
I'd like to be there for the Birds of the Bees talk in a few years. Because
Yeah.
where do bees come from, Daddy, Mummy? Well, when a woman who used to be a man loves another woman who's making an exception this time, like to get together, they go to the vet, get artificially inseminated, and that's where you come from. Night, bye.
I think it was a very tricky. So it's a liberal minefield, and I think we've dealt with the subject very sensitively.
Let's have a look and see if a man giving birth is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, this is the story that a man, Thomas Beattie, has given birth. I was going to get him a card, but Clinton's has really let me down on this one. Two more things to get. Fingers on buzzers. What else have the nation been talking about?
The church.
Go on, tell me more.
Female bishops or something, isn't it?
Female bishops, and there's been a big hoo-ha about it because they were saying we should get promoted. And let's be honest, there's only so far you can go within the church. If you go vicar, bishop, archbishop, you're never going to get the top job, are you? That's God, isn't it? There's no...
And he's put his son in, hasn't he? Nepotism. That's what I hate.
Yeah. Women would be brilliant at being priests because, like, confession is essentially gossip, innit? You know what I mean? Like, it's been 2 weeks since my last confession. Is it? Go on, tell us some more. I slept with a neighbour. Have ya? No way.
OK, female bishops, let's have a look and see if it's up there. Yes, this is the story that the church has voted in favour of female bishops. The church wanted to move forward on female bishops, but bishops can only move diagonally. One more thing to get. Fingers on buzzers. What else have the nation been talking about?
Is
Jason.
it criminals? Criminals. Apparently, they're not going to be sent to prison now. They're saying, oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, this is the thing. Burglars aren't going to be sent to prison.
What are they going to do instead?
They'll put them in the army. And if I was in the army and I was fighting, I think that'd be a real insult all the time. So what they're going to do with these kids who are absolutely unsocial little yobs.
Yeah, let's arm them.
They should join the army. I think, if I was in the army, I'd think, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers.
I do
I've
think-
done this as a career, and now you're saying it should be like a punishment. That's the thing. If you're in Afghanistan, up against it, they go, we've got a load of shoplifters coming in now. A platoon of them are coming down here. A load of hooded knife boys are coming in from the 1st platoon of the fucking Bermondsey South-East Fusiliers, and they're going to take on Helmand Province. No, I'm just saying it's an insult to our forces. Every time you say the answer, I'll tell you what, sling them in the army. Oh, thanks.
Am I on question time?
You will never be on question time. I'll be honest with you. It's not going to happen.
I can tell you that criminals not being sent to prison is not one of the most talked about things this week. It was on the list, but not in the top 5. Also in the news this week, Broadmoor Prison is to hold a talent contest. One of the inmates wanted to do his sawing a woman in half trick, but that's what got him into Broadmoor in the first place.
I was interested in that story because the interesting thing about it is they're going to do Britain's Got Talent, and normally the thing in Britain's Got Talent is...
Broadmoor's got talent.
Yeah, they're going to do Broadmoor's Got Talent, but normally what they do is they have some kind of sentimental backstory, so you tolerate their average warblings, don't you? They've got some story like he's bullied at school, or he came from a very difficult background. But with Broadmoor's Got Talent, they'll have Peter Sutcliffe. He's one of the country's leading psychopaths. Anyway, take it away, Peter. I believe the children are a future.
One more thing to get fingers on buzzers. What else have the nation been talking about this week?
I think the #1 will be Wimbledon, the greatest final of all time.
It was the greatest final of all time.
There's no
There's no two ways
It's
about
very
it.
good.
I think saying the greatest tennis match of all time is like saying that's the tastiest water I've ever drank. So, much of a muchness, to be honest. I listened to it in the back of a taxi.
It was a good match.
It was on the...
What were you doing in a taxi for 9 hours? Yeah. A dogging marathon,
It's a long way to go. It's weird commentary on a tennis match. It's not like football where they go Beckham to Rooney, Rooney to Owen, goal. It's like Nadal to Federer, Federer to Nadal, Nadal to Federer, rain, Federer to serve. 9 hours.
It's a serious point. But they're saying today in the papers, they're looking at how close Nadal and Federer's eyes are together, and they're comparing with Borg and the great tennis players of all time. They're saying that all great tennis players have eyes very close together.
Over the years, with like sort of natural selection, one day we'll just have Cyclops just playing tennis. Just one big eye in the middle.
Again!
I want to be a Cyclops. Push my hand together. Push him that way. Go on, make it happen. Push my eyes together.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Do myself, you lazy bastard.
Let's have a look and see whether Wimbledon is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, the most talked about thing this week. People mock Andy Murray, but he is arguably the 5th best tennis player in the world. Unfortunately, the 4 people better than him keep turning up. At the end of that round, Sean's team have 3 points, Jason's team have 2 points. Our next round is called Pick of the Polls. Sean, what pitch do you fancy answering them?
Man's bottom.
The man's bottom, OK. In a poll to find the ideal place where naturists would like to spend a hot afternoon, back garden came second. What came top?
I went to a naturist place once in Holland, and I didn't know I was going there, but they took our clothes, and I was expecting a towel back, and there was nothing.
Right.
And they had like an English-style pub. Right by the bar, there's a pool table. And I tell you something, naked pool, yeah, is the most shocking thing you've ever seen. When they go down, they size it up, they're like, right like that. Really having a good look around. And this guy, I'm not kidding, it was a big pool table. He went down the pool table like that, and his bollocks were in the middle pocket. Actually, look down, his bollocks actually in the middle pocket. I shit you not.
It's got to be a temptation to do a trick shot, isn't there?
Or put 2 50s in the slot and go...
Yeah.
Connie, where would you like to be naked?
I think naturists would like to be on a beach or in a park.
I imagine naturists are quite the show-offs as well. If they come over with a couple of coffees, you know what I mean? Like, coffee, anyone? No, I'm all right. Donut?
OK, so what are you going to go for?
Jim, I think it's probably some kind of naturist club.
I will give you that. Yes, the ideal place naturists would like to spend a hot afternoon is the British Naturist Club. I've seen a naturist back garden when she bent over to pick up the volleyball. Jason, what do you like the look of?
Duncan wants to go for ABBA.
You've chosen ABBA. In the week that Mamma Mia was released, we asked the studio audience, do you think that ABBA should reform? Yes or no?
They've got a new film out, haven't they? Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
That's just
They
come
were
out.
offered £1 billion to reform.
£1 billion?
£1 billion.
A trillion it was. It was
billion.
a multi-trillion billion.
What I never realised how much taller the guys are than the women. And one of them looks like a hobbit, doesn't he?
She lived with a stalker.
The only fit one.
And I realised it was a stalker. And then
following
she
her
asked
every
him to
room?
leave. And guess what? He was reticent.
Did he actually say that? She said, leave. He went, I'm reticent.
I swear to God, sometimes I watch television, I watch proper documentaries.
Stalker's the perfect person to marry because they're into all the same things you are. You know, they're always there for you.
Duncan, have you heard stalkers?
Yeah, they're weird, man.
Yeah, that's stalkers.
They're weird, yeah. It'd be good if they were...
Yeah,
always...
shit, innit? Like, some of them make you feel awkward, innit?
They just don't respect your boundaries. That's the problem. They don't respect your physical boundaries.
All right.
I would say there's enough reforms going on. Everyone's reforming every 5 minutes. I imagine you'll be at it in a few...
No.
No, not at all? Not fancy reforming?
There was a big thing in Heat the other week saying, please get back
What, is he
together.
a Terminator? Is he going to become a puddle and then come back together? I've been in love with a robot.
Yes or no?
No. What are you going with?
Yes.
I'm going with no.
I'm going to go with Duncan from Blue. No.
I can tell you the answer is no. 66% of our audience don't think ABBA should get back together.
Well done, mate. Good work. Good lad.
If you haven't seen Mamma Mia, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's shit. So at the end of that round, Sean, Johnny and Konnie have 4 points, Jason, Duncan and Johnny have 3 points. The next round is Believe It or Not. In this round, I give the panellists a simple statement. All they have to do is decide whether they think it's true or false. Here is a clip to illustrate the statistic.
The difference between contemporary interviews and this programme is that my interviewees have total freedom of choice. You seem to have a lot of connections with Scandinavia.
Oh, yes, I am Norwegian.
And does this mean you work there a lot?
No, unfortunately, because the Opera House is practically bankrupt.
Oh,
and
dear.
they have no foreign artists, and I am counted as a foreign artist because I live in
Oh.
London.
Oh. But do you ski?
Oh, yes, I love skiing. I love to ski along as fast as I can.
Thank you.
That was from the Channel 4 show Altered Image in 1983. Your related statistic on this, OK? 78% of people think they're not posh enough to go to the opera. True or false?
Where I live, 78% of people are not posh enough to go in a local spa. So...
I think this is a true stat. A lot of people know they're vermin.
A lot of people...
A lot of people in this country, they
Sorry,
look at themselves
Mr.
in the mirror,
Vaughan.
they say, do you know what? I'm vermin.
A lot of people know they're vermin.
And I'd say, I can't go to the opera, I am vermin.
Well, I'm vermin and I've been to the opera.
Were you selling chalk ice?
My wife's... I went to see Darren Brown, actually.
Not really opera, though, is it?
He does a big finish, like, but he... No, it's weird, because my mum got called up on stage, and she always thought... She was like, oh, I don't feel posh enough to go to the theatre. And to be fair, you're not, right? But we went to the... we went anyway, right? And it's like, she got called up on stage by Darren, and he went, right, sleep. Eventually went to sleep. But she had to slap him in the face to do this trick. But she didn't want to slap him in the face, because she's a nice woman. And a bloke at the back of the room just went, fucking hit him, love! Hit him! Smack him out! And Darren Brown turned round with a second gap. He just went, you do that again, and I'll make you wet the bed for the rest of your life. And I thought, I reckon that night the bloke went home and his wife went, do you want a cup of tea before bed? And he went, do you know what, I'm going to leave it, to be honest.
78% of people think they're not posh enough to go to the opera. Is that true or false? What do you think?
We're going to go false.
Okay. You're going true, you're going false.
False.
I can tell you the answer is... false. Only 24% of people think they're not posh enough to go to the opera.
And I could see it.
My favourite part of the opera is the libretto. I always have a strawberry one during the interval. So at the end of that round, it's 4 points for Sean's team and 4 points for Jason's team. And the winner is the name of our final round. Here is your first one. Biggest turn-off for women.
Me.
Men with tails.
It's not called a tail, is it? It's called a penis. Grow
He's
up.
a dragon.
I think, you know, often, you know, men can make a mistake by using... Like, if you go round to a girl's house, you use her toilet. It can spoil things, can't it? Best you do is say you're going to the toilet, but don't use it. And then come out and just go...
Well, no, you've got really
just
fresh...
say, I'm just going to... I need to actually go up. So you go in there, you don't have one, then you come out, and then later she goes, wow, he's so fragrant.
Yeah.
I was in a bar once and they were doing speed dating downstairs and I popped down to the toilet, I had to go through the speed dating thing and obviously press the bell, you got 3 minutes, bing, and then you're done, right? And as I was walking past this table, I heard the bloke, he went, yeah, and so anyway, when I got there, they were already dead. He went,
3 minutes.
Ping, and I was like, you've got 3 minutes. Don't tell them about your dead friend story.
Yeah, so what I do is I slice their beaks off, cut their feet off, and feed them as much until they die.
Bing!
That's farming, really. I inject their eyeballs with special fluid to make them grow faster. Bing! I can eat you. I know how to cut you up and eat you. I would say in about 20 minutes, because I'm a trained boner. A boner works in a slaughterhouse. Takes the bones out of animal, and I can size you up like a pig or a cow and just strip the bones out of you, and you'll be jointed and ready for sale within 25 minutes, because that's what a boner does. Bing!
It's something that the woman would probably see if you went swimming.
Is it having a pair of Speedos, but the S's have come off?
Is it really, like, hairy?
Really hairy?
Really hairy.
Specific area? Hairy back. That's the right answer, yes.
Hairy back.
Yes, the biggest turn-off for women is a hairy back. I was going to shave my back, and then I thought, pluck it. OK, next one. Biggest celebrity polluter.
Is it the Transformers? They would be pretty, because they're a car and they're a robot, and that's 2 carbon footprints.
I know. Doctor Who.
Your world's brilliant, isn't it, Duncan?
What? He has a TARDIS, he turns up and he flies around the galaxy.
What fuel's on the TARDIS? Yeah. Nothing, because it's not real. Whereas the Transformers are real. Is it Simon Cowell?
Yes, it is.
He's up, yes.
Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell. Yeah, the biggest celebrity polluter is Simon Cowell. However, it's Louis Walsh that's responsible for the hole in the boy's own lair. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Sean, Johnny and Konnie have 4 points. Jason, Duncan and Johnny are the winners with 6 points. Well done, then. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.